Hello guys, it's Dmitry here. Today I would like to discuss about another topic. It's topic of mutability versus immutability. So what is mutable? Mutable is a type of variable that can be changed in JavaScript, right? It's important to understand that only objects and array are mutable in JavaScript, not primitive values. When I'm talking about primitive values, for instance, I'm talking about a string or about a number, they are immutable. So objects and string and arrays, as I mentioned, they can be mutable, right? Let's jump into an example in order to explain what exactly I'm talking about. First of all, you can see here I'm defining a variable, right? And I'm storing the string to the variable. So guys, it's important to understand that this actual variable, it's an object, right? So essentially in JavaScript, when you define a new variable, essentially you define an object, right? And it's important to understand that a newly created object going to point to a specific memory space of computer. And this value of this string is going to be stored in a specific memory space, right? So, and one more thing guys, when I perform this operation here, I'm retrieving this value that was stored in this, like in the original space, right? Memory space. And the value was the value that was stored, it was goodbye, right? And I'm going to retrieve it, and I'm going to append this piece of string with the original one, right? And the final string I'm going to store in a new memory space of computer. And initial object will start pointing to a new memory space instead of the previous one. So, and essentially still the original value, which is goodbye, it's sitting in the original allocated memory space, right? So, and after this operation, when we perform this operation, we like a new memory space was used in order to allocate this newly created string. So after that, we don't need this memory space anymore that we utilized before. And what kind of operation going to be, what is going to happen? It's called garbage collection. So essentially, we're going to get rid of this unnecessary data that still occupying a piece of memory space, right? Essentially, it's sitting, it's doing nothing, and we don't need it anymore, right? And that's how it works, right? This operation going to be performed, and so memory space going to be cleaned, or memory space, after this operation it's going to be available for allocation, right? It's not going to be occupied anymore. Guys, also I mentioned that it's just an object, right? And I would like to verify that it's object, right? I would like to show you like how you can see that yes, definitely it's an object. I'm just going to use console.log, and I'm going to say string dot, oh my goodness, dot. And look, as soon as I type dot, you can see all these methods, right? And these methods, they are kind of standard methods of JavaScript, right? When you create a new object, you have all these methods, like to local, lowercase. And in this case, if I would like to use this one, okay, I'm selecting one. And remember, we need to use brackets because it's a method, right? And when I'm performing that, when I'm running this method, when I'm calling this method, essentially all these letters of this string, they're going to be modified to lower cases, right? That's how it is, guys. So let's run it, and I will show you that's essentially what will happen. You can see, guys. Goodbye, Dmitry, right? So that's how it works, guys. And you have, as I mentioned before, right? You have all this, you know, default methods, which is pretty cool. And essentially, again, it's very fine that this string or this variable, it's essentially an object. And this object now, after this performing this adding operation, now this object is starting pointing to a new memory space instead of the original one. And the original memory space, it should be cleaned up, right? Because we don't need this original data anymore, and it's just sitting doing nothing. So hopefully it makes sense, guys, and that's how this concept of mutability versus immutability works in JavaScript. And not only in JavaScript, I believe it works in the majority of languages the same way. Thank you very much, guys. If you like this video, please like it. If you like following my tutorials, please subscribe, guys, if you haven't subscribed yet. And I see you guys in the next tutorial. Goodbye.